Welcome back, Shalloners, and welcome Mendes Army and Camillionaires, because, you know, that's what I've renamed the Camila Mendes Army, because whatever it was not working. Let a professional help. That's right, guys. Today, we're going to talk about Shawn and Camila, their, sudden PDA fest, and them seeming to confirm rumors that they are actually a couple. Oh my God, this is actually happening? But is it? Because I'm going to break down the latest set of photos where we saw them all loved up. And I'm going to look at the red flags in terms of body language that are hinting that this might not be quite as legit as it looks. But before I get into it, I just want to remind you guys that if you have a love question of your own or about friends or celebs or whatever it is, and want to talk to me one-on-one, find me on the Instant Go app. My username is ShallonXO. And click chat to get connected right away. And yes, it's finally available on Android as well as iOS, as it always has been. And I'm almost positive it's available in every single country in the world. So get out there and get connected. Also, follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where I let you guys choose the next topic of the videos. And listen to my brand new podcast, Girl on Top, everywhere that podcasts are found, where I answer the best questions you guys submitted to me over the last week, out every Wednesday. All right, let's get into Shawmila. So I follow a lot of Shawn Mendes fan accounts. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for the person that I am. But the feelings I have about their relationship actually are like everyone else's, which is you've shipped them for so long. You've wanted this to happen. And now that it has, it's something just seems fishy. Something seems off. And before we get into the photos, let's break down the history here, right? Because I've done a few videos recently on Shawn and Camila, and namely how to make an ex jealous, because yeah, she dumped Matthew Hussey, who given what I do for a living, I have feelings about him. Whatever. He's whatever. But she dumped him and just so happened to release Senorita, this PDA steamy fest with Shawn later that week. That's interesting. It made me think that Shawn was probably always an issue in their relationship. She was maybe always a little too close to him. He was a little too flirty. And Matthew was aye, what the fuck? Isn't he Australian? Or is he British? He looks Australian. Do you know what I mean? Just sort of he's been out in the sun too long and has a small penis. Anyway. So I thought that was very interesting. And we've also talked on this channel about body language and about liars. Namely Jordyn Woods, when she did that, what I believe to be disastrous for her credibility interview with Jada Pinkett Smith. But you know what? We're going to get into that later too. But first, let's break down this body language with these two. Or actually, one of the reasons people think this is a little bit hinky is just like I said, the timing is very coincidental. People have been swirling rumors about these two for literally years. And just when they have a single out to promote, just when he's on tour, how convenient that suddenly this relationship not only takes bloom, but they're suddenly in full view of the paparazzi, which heretofore neither one of them are ever caught by. I've told you guys my background before. I was the editor-in-chief of a celebrity magazine for a long time. I know how paparazzi work, and I know how they don't work. And we tend to think of paparazzi as because they catch celebrities going to their car, walking out of Whole Foods, blah, 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 coming out of a nightclub. Paparazzi are not stationed at every street corner. They're not crossing guards. They're not just everywhere, meter maids. When paparazzi catch people, 9 times out of 10, the celebrity has called them. And that seems crazy for us to get our head around because celebs are always leave me alone. I want my privacy. Oh, do you? You want your privacy until you have something to sell. And Shawn is on tour, right? Camila has an album. She's probably gearing up for another album, another tour, maybe some endorsements. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes with celebs, and it all comes down to making money. And that is largely aided by increasing your fan base, getting people talking about you. Maybe they're up for roles in movies. And now it's oh, they're the hot new couple. Let's cast them opposite of each other. We don't know, but they do. And their management team does. And that's when they rope in the paparazzi. And you know who started this? Jessica Simpson and the Kardashians. Kim Kardashian kind of rose to prominence when she dated Nick Lachey. I know. but they went to the movies. And I remember Nick Lachey saying in an interview years later, he's like, I thought it was so weird. We were in a random movie theater in the Valley, like not like on Rodeo Drive, like someplace so out of the way. And Kim showed up like full camera ready makeup. And I was like, all right. And then sure enough, oh, the Pops were outside. What a coincidence. You know, so they really have kind of pioneered this. So I don't think it's a coincidence that Shawn and Camila, two people who, like I said, never get snapped. Never. Have you ever seen Shawn drinking like with a girl, like just out doing literally anything, getting groceries, like getting a parking ticket, like almost never. You never see him. Same with her. It's because paparazzi, first of all, don't trail them because they're kind of not that interesting. And second of all, like they purposely avoid it until. So let's get to this first photo. To me, this was like the gateway photo where I was like, my antenna is up. It's a side-by-side of Shawn and Camila and Shawn and Hailey Baldwin, the only other person we know that he's allegedly dated. I think this is so interesting because, like I said, Shawn is never caught by the paparazzi. And yet the only two times he is, you know, where it's like interesting and noteworthy, he is within like probably 20 feet of the photographer. Because look at the clarity, look at the resolution on both these photos. They're within about the same distance. Like this wasn't a paparazzo on top of a building 3 blocks away with a super scope lens. This was someone literally across the street, you know, like pretty darn close, which means if they could see him that close, he could also see them. And I find it highly interesting that when he's caught, he holds both of these girls in exactly the same way. To me, like this sort of position that he's in is very proprietary and alpha male and like, you know, snuggly and protective. What we also know about Shawn is that everyone seems to think he's gay. I don't, because I emotionally can't. So I emotionally can't. But if you are a dude who doesn't want people to think you're gay, you're going to exhibit the most masculine behavior you possibly can when people are watching, right? And like I said, I don't necessarily think Shawn is gay. And him saying in interviews, like, it bothers me that people think that I am, like, that to me is the biggest indicator that he's straight, because I totally get that. Like, what 20-year-old boy wants people to think he's gay? Do you know what I mean? If people were like, oh yeah, Shallon the lesbian, I'd be like, what? Really? What am I doing exactly? You know, I would have kind of the same reaction. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's simply not what I am. And nobody wants to be mislabeled, whether you're straight and don't want to be called gay and vice versa, you know? So to me, that was very like natural and indicative of his straightness. Also, one of you guys commented on the last video that you made out with him in like London or Paris. We need you to tell us the story. Do you understand? I'm going to block you from this channel if you don't just give up the dirt. Tell us the story. I can't go back to that video and find the comment. There's too many. I can't search through them. You have to put it here, okay? You don't have to have your name, but we need the details. So back to this photo. I just think it's really interesting, right? And let me say up front that I don't necessarily think that him and Camila are a fake couple. I think that they actually might be dating and hooking up. You know, like there was a Snapchat, someone caught them at like 4:30 in the morning at a diner sitting together. Like that's a pretty, why would you do that? You know, that's weird. But let me tell you something about him and Hailey. One of my friends, who shall remain nameless, is in like the Hollywood industry and like ended up talking with her for like 20 minutes at an event, like while she and Shawn were kind of like breaking up. And it just so happened that night he was with Camila. It was when they were at that pizza parlor. Do you know what I mean? And it looked like they were kind of like touching hands. I hate that I know this. Pathetic. But Hailey was like very sad about it, that their relationship was ending. Why would she be sad about it if it was a fake relationship that she was in on? And why would she tell any of this to basically a stranger? You know, celebs are smart and they're conniving, but like that's kind of a bridge too far, you know? Like she didn't know who this kid was. She thought he was just like a fashion person. Like there would be no real incentive for her to like pass this game of telephone around, you know? So I think that that's like fairly authentic. But let's keep looking at these photos, okay? Oh, this one. Camila. Work those angles. Here's something I've learned about photos from doing what I have done for so long, candid photos are usually very unattractive. Like just doing my YouTube videos, if I look at like the little like thumbnail images that that the movie suggests, I'm like, whoa, like my face is moving in 10 different directions. I look like a Yeti. I'm hideous. And so when people are caught looking like this, just like, like hair perfectly like swaying in the wind, hip cock just so, arm pressed against the body, but not too much so that it looks fat. Like that's, wow, Camila, what a cavalier little pose. Same with Shawn. He's got his angles going, just so happens to be touching her hair, looking masculine, vaguely gesturing towards his own crotch. This just feels contrived. And it is because, as I said, the paparazzi were so close, she could obviously see them and she was posing. Why would people who have heretofore been so private about their lives do this? Like, did you guys ever see her and Matthew Hussey out? I never did, right? That's interesting. You date for a year, you never like catch people. And paparazzi didn't catch them because they weren't looking for them, because she never called the paparazzi to come take these pictures, but they did now. This next one I love because it's like, could you guys be any worse actors? Please don't go into acting. Have you ever been walking down the street and like gesturing like this? Like, oh my God, what are you doing? It just feels, again, so contrived. So I just think that this, again, is so hokey and so contrived. Like the gestures, the facial expressions are just so intense. And here's why we're talking about body language. I probably should have started with this. 98% of communication is nonverbal, right? That's true. That's like a psychological communicative fact. Here's a demonstration. Two of the same phrases, completely different meanings. Sure, go ahead. Sure. Go ahead. You can even take the words away. Two completely different meanings. And the point of me bringing that up is we can look at photos and we can actually glean exactly what's going on without having to hear what they're saying, without having to get an inside track on like a source. We can deduce for ourselves what's happening. And this is what we can take into our own lives. So much of the time when we confront a guy or a friend, we listen to their words and we shouldn't. We almost have to put them on mute. Like I wish we could record people, put them on mute, and then just watch their body language. When guys go like this, when they like touch the back of the neck, like, I don't know, that's a gesture that means they want to get out of there. They want to leave. They're in an anxious moment. They want to go. When people lie, they tend to like cover their face or touch their face because subconsciously they don't want the lie getting out. People don't like to lie. It creates cognitive dissonance. Sociopaths and psychopaths aren't like this, which is why they're so dangerous, because they can they can lie. They can be lie detectors. They don't give a fuck. They don't have that core of right and wrong. But normal people, they're gonna touch. They're gonna like put up physical blockers. When girls touch their hair, it's like a peacock thing. We're like, look over here. When guys are interested in you, their feet point towards you. And so do their hips usually. They're also gonna maybe vaguely gesture towards their crotch. They're gonna have their hands kind of like in their belt loops, being like, my penis is here. I'm just pointing towards it in case you forgot, right? And same with girls. We're gonna I always move my hair out of my way. Like the tits are here. Wow. But we can't undo this. This is the thing about body language, is why it's so cool. We cannot control it. Even if you think you can, you're giving things away. And we can interpret those as people if we know what to look for and if we listen to what our intuition is telling us. And just like all these fan accounts and the people commenting, everyone's saying the same thing. These pictures feel off to me. There's something about this that it's fishy. And no one has any empirical evidence, except for me, because I know body language. But the fact that we collectively have that deduction means our instincts that allows us to read our own species is kicking in. And we have to listen to that. And I talk a lot about instinct, and we as women, especially in society, are trained to push that down. You be polite. You take whatever people tell you is the truth. You take what you're given. Blah, 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 blah. But when we can stand up and be like, no, I feel in my gut, which has kept my ancestors alive for thousands of years, this instinct, I feel something different than what I'm seeing and what you're telling me. Instinct is quiet. It's a very flat, matter-of-fact voice. It is the voice of Oprah. It is the voice of Oprah. And anxiety and mania and the patriarchy has a hysterical voice. It's a shriek because it's fear. And it's like, ah! When you listen to that underlying voice, something's not right. That's when you're tapping into the intuition. I can do a whole other video on this if you guys want. But let's get back to Shamila. Ugh, this photo. Look at this bitch looking right down the camera. Like, have you ever seen a more like smug little grin ever? Look at her. Shawn even, I mean, his face in this mirrors my own feelings. He looks bored and ashamed. And I'm just like, I don't blame you. But this also tells me that Camila is the one behind this. Because let's think about it. Shawn has a billion fans. He is at the top of the charts. He's selling out stadiums. He's the king of pop. He is. Camila, I mean, she's doing well. Don't get me wrong. She's super talented, but she's not at the Shawn level. And it's difficult to get there when you don't have female fans who want to have sex with you the way male pop stars do. You know, that really fuels their machine a lot, a lot. So she's definitely trying to capitalize, consciously or not, on Shawn's clout. You know, this could be a clout-based relationship. Again, I don't think it's necessarily fake, but let me say something, Shawn. If you're watching, and I assume that you are, because I assume that you just loved me from afar. If you are lying, and if you're just plain gay, or I'm sure you'll pretend that you're bi as a layover to Gay Town, you know, which you'll get there 5 years after that, your fans are going to turn on you. Not because you're gay, but because you lie. And people don't appreciate that. People who stand for you, people who save up their babysitting money and pay $140 for a concert ticket, they don't like to be lied to. They don't like this contrived crap. Date someone or not, be gay or don't, but be authentic. Because that's especially for musicians, authenticity is like crucial. Like the reason like those like manufactured bubblegum pop stars went out of fashion, because it's like, what are you even singing about? You don't know, it doesn't resonate, it's fake, it's just like, bleh. We love Shawn because his songs feel very real and like pulled from his own heart. Same with Camila. I mean, she's more like poppy, but like Shawn is like very transparent. And it's like, dude, if you're pointing in one direction and then veering off into baloney in this other category of your life, people are not going to be super game for that for too long. So last but not least, this picture. I don't know about you guys, but I've never run down the street like a toddler just shrieking with delight. I mean, maybe I would if I was with Shawn Mendes. You know, maybe that's the difference. But I have a really hot boyfriend, and even when we were dating at the very first, I didn't do this. It's very strange behavior to me. It's very showy. Like, she's literally hopping around like some sort of pony. And Shawn, like, bro, what? Why did you agree to this? Like, I think this worked with Haley and the photos he was like seen with Haley when they were in Toronto. By the way, I missed them by like 2 days at that Christmas market. I was furious. I almost flew back. I was so mad. But like, they seemed very natural. Like, yes, they could tell the paparazzi were looking at them, but like, they just seemed more authentic, which again, I believe Haley thought that it was. Shawn's point of view, who knows? Hopefully he wasn't just using her as beard and didn't bother to tell her. That's a pretty dick move. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're gay and in the closet. You don't get to use other people and like not let them in on it. I think that's really messed up. And I personally will turn on Shawn Mendes if that's the case. I'm going to do some more digging. I'm going to ask my source exactly what Haley told him. He's playing a little bit coy, but if there's one thing Shallon Lester can do, it's crack a case, especially about Shawn Mendes. I use my powers for good and not evil. I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. Do you believe Shamila is real? Do you believe this is contrived? Do you think maybe the relationship is real and just this weird photo op is fake? Do you believe the whole thing is a bunch of baloney? Tell me where you stand, and also sometimes that you have noticed body language not matching up with what someone was telling you. We can decode it together. And like I said, follow me on Instagram at ShallonXO and listen to my new podcast, Girl on Top. And if you have a love question of your own and want to talk one-on-one, find me on the Instant Go app. Maybe some name is ShallonXO and put a chat to get connected.